Welcome to Nice Girl Detox, a sacred rebellion built by and for neurodivergent women, femmes, and folks who are shaped by good girl conditioning. I'm Mo Holloman, the main character coach, and I work with women who have ADHD who are ready to build a life that actually supports their brain, honors their emotion, honors their energy, and helps them follow through sustainably. But this podcast, this is the playground. Every episode comes straight from our live monthly calls inside Nice Girl Detox, a sisterhood, bold, playful, unfiltered space to unmask, expand, and express in real time. We're not here to be digestible. We're here to be fully, unapologetically alive. Let's get into it. I would just like to say hello to all of you beautiful unicorns that are joining us. Thank you so much. Welcome to Nice Girl Detox. This is a literal sacred rebellion, and it's built by and for neurodivergence, women, femmes, and folks shaped by good girl conditioning. We are not here to be digestible tonight or any night. We are here to be undeniably alive. So really in this space, you don't have to perform, you don't have to fix, you don't have to prove anything here. You literally get to come exactly as you are, camera on, camera off, body doubling while you're doing your laundry, listening to the podcast later on YouTube or on all podcast platforms. Just crying maybe if you want to be on your emotion. I mean, whatever it is that you are, it all belongs. It's all very much welcome. I'd love to share with you just a few expectations, things to help you settle in, really just relax into this energy tonight. This is a playground for all of us. This is a podcast style conversation. We also will have that real-time coaching here at the end. We'll have some integration moments to share. There's, again, no pressure to talk, but if you do want to submit a question and you'd like to be coached, we would love to interact, and chat with you. So you just need to put your chat in the question. Kristin just submitted a question for you guys to fill out. What part of you is hungry to be seen, reclaimed tonight? What is your intention, your desire for this evening? Be thinking about that. Share that if you'd like to get started with that. If, as you're listening, or you came here with a question, something that you want to be coached on, or just get an answer to, or just have us talk about, put it in the chat. And if you do want coaching with it, just write the word coaching. There's really no pressure here to share anything. If again, you don't want to share, if you're not ready when you submit a question and we come to you, no shame, you can back out at any point. So we'll move on. I really just want you to feel very relaxed in this space. So stay for what you can. If you need to come back to the recording later, that's totally fine. I'm just so super stoked to have you. I'd love to move right into introducing you to Kristin. I'm so stoked to have this call. Kristin is our sacred rebellion co-conspirator tonight. She is a trauma-informed coach, a certified hypnotherapist, Erotic Blueprint and Wheel of Consent expert. She helps people reclaim their power through radical self-trust, pleasure, permission, raised in a cult, an FBI witness, and now the creator of Devotional Kink. Kristin doesn't just teach us about empowerment, she really embodies it. And she electrifies me. And so I have a pretty good feeling she's going to literally electrify you tonight as we burn the rule book together and we write something wild. Kristin, my gosh, I'm so excited to be chatting with you. Welcome.
Thank you. It's such a delight to be here.
Ooh. Well, Kristin, I would really, to get started tonight, I'm gonna pull up my notes, just a few things for us to touch base on. I think it would be super fun to start out a little bit tonight with your background. Of course, we've been chatting online and we've been encouraging people to think about what this topic means to them. But where did you get started in all this? If you want to share a little bit of a background story, I think that's a fun place to start.
Sure. Thank you. Well, let's see. If there was anyone less likely to become a sex and intimacy and kink educator, it would be this one right here, me. I I was the ultimate good girl. And I say that I was, quote, raised in captivity. So I was raised in a cult, and it was like purity culture to the nth degree. So we dated for courtship. Sex was like only for marriage, one partner for life, all of those things. And I got married in the cult after 6 weeks of courtship. That was it. And was married for 15 years to a man that was not the right fit for me. And I thought that sex was sort of a one note thing. Like, okay, it's pretty quick, then it's over. All right, not much to learn there. And I had this amazing erotic awakening when I was in my early 40s. I think it was 40 or 41. After I thankfully rescued myself and became single. I left the cult 15 years ago, but stayed married for 9 more, trying to do the right thing. So it took a long time, like step my way out. And I went through, of course, child sexual abuse and then date rape later on when I became single. I didn't know how to date. I didn't know my boundaries. I didn't have any empowerment. And so I actually entered this world through trauma. And I healed through pleasure and through BDSM, through kink. And so it's amazing that I was able to rewire through erotic awakening. And so now I have 29 different types of orgasms.
Oh my gosh,
Yes,
girl.
yes, yes. I can have literally like off-body orgasms. I see colors and sacred geometry shapes. So like I didn't even know. What I thought was a 10 is like a 2 on the scale now. I dealt with serious autoimmune issues, Lyme disease, Epstein-Barr virus, adrenal fatigue, and a brain injury with post-concussive syndrome that left me with post-concussive ADHD. So I like was like a triple winner across all of this.
Yeah.
And instead of choosing to stay stuck, I was like, I am going to figure this out. And so I got here because the traditional therapy route didn't work for me. And I was like, I'm determined to reclaim my body for myself. And so I healed through discovering BDSM and sex, like sex as pleasure and sex as spiritual discovery. And that led me to 7 coaching certifications, 11,000 coaching hours, and now building my own programs.
You know, when we met, this was years ago at this point, I really felt so connected to your story in many ways. And many of the women who are, some on the call tonight, some who are in the community are from the Midwest. And, you know, many of us were raised in religious households. And, you know, there's no shame on any of that, but with that, there is some good girl programming for sure that all of us have opportunities, really, no matter where you're from or what your background is, to explore ourselves, to rediscover parts of ourselves, to discover, you know, anew many different aspects of ourselves, maybe the 29 types of orgasms, you know, that we could tap into, right? We have this tremendous possibility, you know, that exists within us if we start asking questions and challenging the things that we've are always known, you know. And so in that way, I really connected with your story long ago because, you know, to me, I think the idea of just starting with the question of what part of my life did I choose and what part of my life was chosen for me, and I kind of am just repeating at this point.
Absolutely.
What do you feel like? I really want to dive into you know, all the play parts and definitely want to get into that pretty quick, but I would love to just, you know, one of the things that we talked about in the notes that we when we were chatting, different embodiment practices to just like really open yourself up. You mentioned a growl in your email. If you're a person who this kind of conversation is feeling a little bit like, you know, do you have any tips for us as we're listening to settle in, to get relaxed, maybe to open our minds?
Yes, I love that. So in the Erotic Blueprints world, some of you have done the Erotic Blueprints here, and hello, ladies. You're familiar with this concept. I like to start every coaching call and every podcast with something called pleasure first. It can be as simple as a few breaths, but let's just drop in.
Okay.
If some of you have your cameras off, just go ahead and close your eyes.
Okay.
Closing your eyes and settling into your body, coming home to yourself, your physical body. So with a lovely, slow, wide inhale, letting those ribs open to the sides and the back, your belly soften and open. As you exhale, just letting yourself come home. All of the threads of all the thoughts you had earlier in the day, all of the things that happened before now, just let them float away, releasing them. And just let your breathing be soft and relaxed. And invite yourself into this sense of sacred sisterhood and safety. Where in this space, we don't have to live by any script we were handed. We don't have to play any role. And so this is a safe place to let the wild one inside, loose and free. And so if part of you is feeling like wild and afraid, wants to hide, go ahead and curl up tight into a little ball. But if you're feeling wild and expansive, open up that chest. You can sprawl on the floor. You can curl up tight, whatever feels good for you. And just invite your mind, your spirit, and your body to synchronize. And if it feels good, you can sway back and forth. Little figure 8, moving from your hips, letting your shoulders get involved. And then come up, wherever you are, come up to a seated position, take a deep breath in, and let the wild one purr or growl. Or purr or hiss. Another big breath in, maybe your arms want to come up. And exhale like you're just done pretending. And shake off all that conditioning. Shake it all off, all those rolls, let it go. And just say, I don't belong in a box.
I don't belong in a box.
I can burn it all down.
I can burn it all down.
Yes, this is the sacred rebellion.
Oh, ooh, Kristin, that was good. I love that. You know, this leads me right in, we're neurodivergents, we're here to party. I would love to chat a little bit about non-linear desire. Is that okay to like pop right in? Are you cool with that?
Yes, let's go all over the place.
Yeah, because to me, I think what you just did, when I think about sexuality, a lot of times, we talk about our blueprint, what it is, our way into pleasure. What is that for us? I know for me, my brain likes different things at different times, right? No matter if it's an intimate connection with another person, or it's, what does my brain need today so I can get this thing done? Whatever that is. That's one of the things that I really love about some of the conversations we've had before, is just this radical permission to meet yourself where you are in your intimate, sexual relationships with yourself, with others. Can you help explain a little bit about that to us?
Yes, absolutely. Well, we are all shapeshifters in terms of how we are every day. How I feel in the morning is not how I feel at 3 p.m. Certainly not how I feel at 9 p.m. So we have our regular body clocks. We also have our hormonal clock. If we're still cycling, we've got a 26 to 29 day cycle. And so what we're experiencing during ovulation is totally different than when we're on our bleed. And so it's really nice to just be like, who am I today as an erotic being? And I use erotic blueprint language. We'll talk about that typology a little bit later. But if I say to my husband, I'm feeling really sensual today, it doesn't necessarily mean I want sensual sexuality and eroticism right now, but it means I want slowness.
Yeah.
I want cozy. I want like a lot of closeness. And if I say I'm feeling really energetic today, it means I need some space.
Yes.
Tease me, tempt me, but don't come at me with like really direct attention. And with neurodivergence, like we also have a lot of difference in terms of how we experience the world. So often heightened sensory sensitivity. So things that would be fine for someone else, a really messy room, bad breath, something like that could just be like crashed. Extra sensitive to smell, sight, sound, loud.
Itchy sheets.
The worst. Yeah, texture is huge for me. We also might not notice subtle clues with nonlinear or neurodivergent desire. We might need really direct invitation. I'm feeling horny. Do you want to make out?
Yeah.
It's more like we might need more direct input and an invitation. And then also I put this one in the notes. There's also hyper-focused or interest-based intimacy responsive desire, where we can be like really turned on, but if our partner doesn't meet us there right away, we're like, I'm over it. And we just like, the window of opportunity was lost, unless we learn how to work with it. Also, regulation needs, executive dysfunction, nervous system hyper arousal can actually overstimulate to the point of like, oh, I'm not here anymore. And so people learning how to work with neurodivergence to be able to like really connect in and have plans, have skills, have language with their partner to be able to name that and overcome it.
Yes, I love what you said. It's so true. Being aware of all the needs that you have. First of all, starting with, I'm allowed to have them. I'm allowed to meet them. I'm allowed to ask myself what they are. So like, for example, I know for me, let's say, for example, I love a fun example that's real, and is real for me regularly. If I'm going all day, same thing like if I was to go to sleep, I'm not going to go to sleep immediately. I'm not going to be tired immediately. If I've been going, and then, okay, now it's bedtime, I need to have the space to settle into a different energy, right? And so, this is just one example of a need of the limitless needs a person could have. But one that's really big for me is unless, like you said, unless I'm horny and I'm ready now, I'm gonna need that time to ease into it. And so the idea of foreplay and not going directly into penetrative sex, for example, I just want to create a little bit of language for the people who are visual and like examples. Do you have any other ways that when you think about just, desire in general, that you can start asking yourself what those things are, or if you already know what they are, maybe even communicating those? How do you get started with that if you don't feel like you have a relationship that has practiced that? Doesn't mean you can't do it, just means you haven't practiced it yet. What kind of advice would you have for us there?
Oh, the first thing is you need a bridge from busy to open for intimacy. Only one of the 5 sexual blueprint types can go straight to it. Everybody else needs a bridge. And so we call it the toggle switch in the erotic blueprints world. It's the signal of, I am done executing life and I'm open for relaxation. I'm open for intimacy. I'm now in a new mode. So I keep, because of my nervous system, I keep red bulbs in 3 different lamps, 2 upstairs, 1 downstairs. And when I turn on those red lamps, just red light bulbs, I'm like, okay, signaling my brain, blue light time is over, and like relaxation has begun. And I also really, really like to transition with a shower or a bath. It can literally be just a quick rinse, but like turning down the lights in the bathroom, a quick shower, rinsing off the day, and like, it's a total energy shift. And then I also am like, please don't surprise me with a request for sex, even though like I'm the higher sexual blueprint in my relationship. I'm the one who's like, I like the anticipation. I want to know that that's coming so that like I can get excited about it and have something to look forward to. That's part of the joy for me, is the anticipation. And so like, tease me a little, flirt with me, nibble on my ear, or stroke the inside of my arm, like there's vulvas all over your bodies, ladies. It's like pretty incredible. And like I see somebody on here, I know that they have sensitive knees, for example.
Yes.
On their knee, and it's really lovely. But when you play with this with your partner, you can actually do a sexy sex lab and say, hey, let's practice initiation. What happens if I say, do you want to make out later on? Or, hey, I want to get down tonight. Or, I want to make love to you. Right? Like there are different kinds of invitations. But what happens if we use our words like grown-ups? That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you might not be in the mood. So I'm also a big fan of clear communication. Once couples have the basics down, to be able to use language to say things like, I'm feeling really tired. I don't have any energy, but I'd like to have a maintenance orgasm before bed. Would you be willing to help?
Yeah.
And letting it just be for one person. You don't always have to be in the same mood at the same time. All you need to be is open for asking for what you want, or open to serve generously a partner when you're not really in the mood to.
Yeah.
And
I think that's,
for one person is like, great. Hey, awesome. Win.
yes, I love that. Thank you so much for bringing that up too. You know, I think something that sometimes can be forgotten a lot. You know, I know I talked about foreplay earlier, but I think foreplay is like major part if you want it to be, if that really calls to you, but also the idea of, you know, hey, I would just like to have a maintenance orgasm. I think that's a beautiful thing. Like I'm in, basically I'm in the mood to get off right now, but I kind of just want to have that experience. I don't want to make it some big
Right.
drawn out thing, you know, and actually also love the idea too of saying, could you just help me support my own orgasm? Like, I just want to give it to myself and I would love for you to be near me.
Yeah,
I
it's
think that's
great.
great.
And I think there's something really freeing when we say, oh, we don't have to make it ultra gourmet every time.
Yeah.
It leaves more lightness and more play in it. And there was something else you said just before that that sparked something, and I lost it. So we'll come back if it comes.
Well, I think really what we're opening up here, whether you are a neurodivergent person and you're super aware that you've got all kinds of different sensory needs, or if you're in a relationship and you're feeling already way safe to communicate, or you're not quite sure how, or you're just coming to the idea that you might have this opportunity of 29 different orgasms, you know, really what you're hearing is options. You're hearing limitless possibilities for you in this sexual space so that you can really discover a lot about yourself. And one of the things you talked about earlier, you touched on, was if you're still a person who's cycling. And I would say that the majority of the people in Nice Girl Detox are either still cycling or growing into perimenopause, in menopause. And so we have like a multi-generational space here with different experiences. And we both know that perimenopause, menopause, it changes your brain, and it changes more about you than maybe a lot of us have even ever learned. I feel like this makes a lot of sense to transition a little bit here, opening the conversation up a little more to not just how do you follow your desires, but what can that look like as it's carried through life. And especially as we touch on, you know, eroticism, kink, and playing with the possibility of what is available to us.
Yeah. So midlife erotic awakening is such a miracle. And it's like, this is where I've come alive. And I'm like, this is the juiciest, most erotically alive I've ever been. And so I'm going to read you a quote from Christiane Northrup from her book, The Wisdom of Menopause. She says, menopause puts your life under a microscope. The hormonal shifts occurring in a woman's body at this time of transition uncover hidden wisdom and the courage to voice it. That's it. This is a time when women come to me. Most of my clients are right around my age, like right in this perimenopausal time of life where we're like, we might have a period for a few months and then it might disappear for 6 months and then pop back. Who knows? That's right where I am, like right in the middle of it. And what I find is that women in perimenopause tend to lose their give a fuck. They're just like, I'm over it. Yeah, it broke. All of my performance, my pleasing, all of that is just, it's gone. And it's not actually, for most of them, truly a loss of libido, but it's a loss of patience with the type of sex they've been having. And I, as a good thing. I really, really do. So midlife isn't a breakdown. It can be a breakthrough. And historically, before hormonal birth control was available, menopause was the time when women were the most free erotically. They could finally have sex without the fear of getting pregnant and having to raise another baby. And so those were the women who were the priestesses and in the pleasure palaces and teaching younger women. And the time when they had the least responsibility, and like there was no risk of chaining their life to another human being for the rest of their lives. So I feel like perimenopause is when we break this maiden and mother and martyr syndrome that many of us were just like handed and adopted. And this is where the maverick and the maven get to come in, like,
yes.
And so we get to break this good girl conditioning. Like when we realized I was doing good girl jailbreak and you were doing nice girl detox, it was like, oh, we need to do something together.
Yes.
And doing this independently, let's collaborate. It's like the good girl is polite, palatable, pleasing, and performing. And most of us recognize that and have tried to move away from it. We've made a lot of progress in the last 50 years. We really have. It wasn't until 1984 that women could actually take out a business loan without a male family member signing with them. It's like, it has not been that long in our lifetimes. We've come a long way. But we've also replaced the original good girl with good girl 2.0, which is the hyper independent woman, which also still says, I'm going to take care of myself and doesn't actually trust enough to open and speak her truth and be met to have her needs filled. So I see this as like a precious, powerful portal for actually saying, I have sacrificed, I have put myself on the sidelines for so long. Like someone put in the chat that they wanted to find a new identity other than mother. Like, oh, I feel that. 16, 17, and 19. And it's like, yeah, they've got their own cars. Like, wow, whole new world, so much more freedom. And then stepping into this power of, hey, I get to say what I want. I get to change what I want. I had a client a few months ago who said her husband told her he decided he was sure she didn't want to have sex anymore because she hadn't replaced the lube. And she was like, actually, what I want you to do is spend enough time on me that I can warm up with you.
Yes.
Girl, like I'm a fan, like lube is great.
Yeah.
If he thinks like we have to have it.
Yeah.
And that's how it starts. Let me smear this cold gel on you. Like,
oh my God.
And she literally was like, I'm not buying anymore until you slow down.
Yeah. And also you can buy the lube.
Buy the lube. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. So I had a question that I wanted to put in the chat just to kind of bring you all in, ladies.
Yeah.
Who would you be if you weren't trying to be good anymore? Who would you be? And it took me a long time to even grow into this. Even once I became a sex coach, I tried to be like the good girl sex coach for a long time. And I would say things like, if you're not working on your marriage, you're working on your divorce. And it was something from another coaching program. And then I was like, wait, what if in my case, divorce was the best thing that happened to me? That was a rescue operation. Maybe that was
literally.
Or like even deeper. So who would you be if you weren't trying to be good? I was like, I'm going to be a sex coach and I'm going to unashamedly help connect women back to their pleasure without shame. And I'm not even going to make it about the marriage. I'm going to make it about their joy. And then even more, if you were a bad girl, what would you desire? What would you desire if you were a bad girl? Like, would you desire 29 different kinds of orgasms? Would you desire to try out that kinky flogger, learn how to tie up someone with ropes? Would you want to be a dominatrix? I just went to dominatrix school for the last 9 months. I wanted to learn the dark power, and it's not something I'm going to do professionally, but I can teach the Jungian archetypes and all of that, and it's so fun. So I'm leading, my way. How would you do it?
If you find yourself loving this episode right now, don't forget to subscribe. And also, if you want to comment, let's comment. We like to chat around here. It's a way that you can support the magic that we're building here. And also, thank you for listening. That really counts. So I hate to ask you for another favor already, but also, if you'd subscribe, if you're enjoying this, we'd like to have more conversations with you. And you can also, oh my gosh, come join us. Come, let's hang out at the Nice Girl Detox Facebook community. This is literally where the sisterhood lives. This is our community. If you want to join the next live coaching call, we put all the details in there. We put all the what will be coming soon, the dares, the challenges that we do together. They're all living there in the Facebook community. This is the sisterhood. This is the space that we stretch, we speak, we express, we co-create together. I would love for you to come and hang out with us. Oh my gosh, it's such a good time. And then also, if you're an ADHD woman and you're ready for coaching that actually meets you where you are, not where you should be, DM me the word detox. I'm at Main Character Coach on Instagram. You can comment here. I'll find you. Let's do this thing. And until then, how about we get back to the episode? I love that. These are great questions. If you'd like to share your answers, by the way, feel free. Also, if you're not comfortable sharing, that's okay too. I love how you open this up to also just what are the parts of you that are unexplored? Because I tend to look at everything as a creative venture of expression, if you're a person who has always wanted to be in a play, we have all these little things. Maybe you want to be a person who goes to France one day and take a, cooking class from, some great chef. We all have this really wild expression living inside of us. These, I like to say main character your own experience also because you can choose what your character is doing. Like these are just avatars, right? You get to play, you get to experience yourself be different ways. And it doesn't have to be the hat you wear every single day and out in public and share with the world, but it's a part of you that exists and is only possible through your acknowledgement of your asking these types of questions. And so Kristin, gosh, these are really great starters for us. And when you're in your spaces with your clients, and of course, you just brought up dominatrix school. I don't know at what point you would like to share a little bit about kink and erotic blueprints, erotic awakening, just in general. I feel like we're kind of naturally guiding in that direction when it comes to this exploration. So you've answered these questions, or maybe you're still thinking of the answers to these questions. What's kind of the next step?
Well, I want to actually mention two things on perimenopause and menopause before we move on to
Absolutely
middle. So stats, 34% of postmenopausal women express significant dissatisfaction with their current level of sexuality, which indicates a gap between expectations and experiences. So 1/3 of women are like, I'm not happy with my sex life. And we know it's one of the top 3 contributors to divorce. So it's a big deal. You can't just leave it and hope that it'll fix itself. This is my favorite stat of the night, ladies. 36% of women ages 40 to 65 reported that easing menopause symptoms through masturbation and self-pleasure was the most powerful tool for symptom relief. Come on, you don't need a partner to actually explore your eroticism. So I do want to mention that, if you're single, if you're unpartnered, if you have a partner, that this is the most terrifying thing in the world or is completely not open to discussion and evolution. you can take care of your own damn self. Like reclaim that too. Like our orgasms and our pleasure belong to us. And so I think normalizing that, but actually, how can we expect our partner to know how to pleasure us if we've never taught them? Or if we've been faking
Yes.
orgasms for the last 30 years?
Yeah.
No, it's not their fault. We need to learn our own bodies, nourish ourselves erotically. And that doesn't just mean like a vibrator on your vulva. It can mean going to dance. Like I started dancing tango and West Coast swing a few years ago. That was one of my bucket list things. Like I can't, I have terrible rhythm. And I beat it.
Yeah.
Tango and West Coast swing feed my energetic and sensual and kinky blueprints. I can pleasure myself, but 36%.
Yeah.
That's pretty high. So I wanted to make sure to bring that up. Like self-pleasure, ladies.
100%.
Yeah, really important. Yeah, you are your own first and last and lifetime lover. Even if you're really monogamous or you've only had one partner your entire life, you are your lifetime lover. And so that's important. That connection to self is really, really important.
Absolutely. You know, and I would love to just add to that too, you know, the idea that you also can explore within yourself ways that, you know, I love what you said. It's not just like actual touch on your body all the time. There's all kinds of different things that can awaken play in you and get you feeling about it's aliveness at the end of the day, right? I mean, it's aliveness. There's almost nothing more you know, soul fueling and than that, right? And so it's these parts of you that come awake, these parts of you that you allow to be seen. There's nothing more of a turn on than the idea of allowing yourself, you know, to be seen by yourself even first, you know. And then also taking it to your intimate practices with yourself and the ways that you meet yourself and the ways that you know, a lot of times with even my clients, if they're not in a relationship, it's, you know, I can literally just touch myself, like just a nice caress across my body and just feel very, you know, loved, very supported by myself. You know, there's just so much opportunity for us. Number one, to be fully seen by ourselves, to really be turned on by the aliveness of the opportunity to just go explore the parts of us that are waiting to be witnessed, right? Waiting to play, waiting to come out and meet us and join us. Um, I love that you said that there's a lot of ways. There are threads that lead directly to, you know, at the end of the day, what we all think only happens sometimes in the bedroom. So we did have a couple of
don't. Go.
you what?
I said sometimes the best things don't. They happen outside the bedroom.
Well,
You
isn't
have a
that the
couple of
case?
what?
Yes. We did have a couple questions, or at least comments I would love to share with you.
Yeah.
One comment said, I love sex and I want to be with someone that can do it without having to feel an emotional connection to my partner, no strings. What are your thoughts on hearing that? Do you have anything you'd like to share with us, Kristen?
Oh, everyone's design is different. So I actually am starting to do this magical work of combining human design, strategy, and authority with the erotic blueprints to actually create this deep picture. No one's done it before, I don't think. It was like this download recently. And like I am built for depth. I'm more sapio and demisexual, and my body doesn't come online with new people. But I have lots of clients who are like the zing of this instant attraction. They can find it and access it. So it's kind of a blueprint thing, right? If you're a sexual blueprint, that might happen more, or depending on your human design type, you might be like right there. And so the most important thing I would say to this question, Leslie, is communicating in advance what the meaning is with whoever you're playing with, right? So I have a whole template. I can send it to Mo to put in the group, but I have a whole template I teach my clients that they do before they get naked with someone. So it needs a real name, but I call it the RBDSMFA template. So R is for relationships. So I'm just going to run through this really quick. I do this with any potential play partner, hookup, friend with benefits sort of thing. What are your relations? So R is for relationships. What relationships are you in? What are your agreements? Are you single? Is there anybody who thinks they might be in a relationship with you?
Good question.
To ask. What are your boundaries? Like, we're not going to catch feelings, for example, or we're going to meet up once a month for a hookup or something like that. So yeah, relationships, boundaries, desires. What do you want to experience? I want to have casual, like fun, playful, exploratory sex. I had a client once who had never had a repeat lover. They had only had one experience with each person. And so when we started working together, I suggested that they find a play partner. And so they actually said, my desire is to find an ongoing play partner to explore the erotic blueprints with me while I work with my coach who wants to volunteer. Right. So if you're clear about your desire,
that's awesome.
And then we look at safety. When was your last STI test? What were the results? What exposure have you had since? You talk about safety for pregnancy and stuff like that. I also look at emotional sobriety. So safety, sobriety, and safe word. And most important in this one, meaning. What does it mean? It means we're having fun. Very different from we're consummating a lifetime partnership. So just define it. Be super plain, clear. And then aftercare, especially for friends with benefits, no emotional strings. What kind of aftercare would feel good to you? I'm going to feel crappy if you leave 10 minutes afterwards. Can you stay for an hour and snuggle and have some ice cream in bed? Or will you check in with me 24 hours afterwards just so we can like debrief together, something like that. But clarity will help. And that template is my go-to for that. So I'll share that. I've got a little PowerPoint and video on it. I think it's very hard to not at some point or other, like some people can do this and some people can't. I think it just depends on your design. For some people, they fall in love like first kiss, first sex. They're like connected. And other people have more ability to like have more casual, playful encounters. Both are wonderful, but it's really like knowing yourself. Will you be able to hold yourself if you see them post a picture in 2 weeks with their new partner, or you see them out on a date with somebody else, or are you going to be crushed and heartbroken? Yeah.
I love that. And I think a thing I would love to just chat about is at the end of the day, everything you just shared really supports the idea of really ultra healthy communication, which if you have a play partner that you're able to walk through these with, the types of ways you experience each other and are experienced are so much more open, I guess, as a result, and so especially if you're like, I love your example of your client who's like, I want someone to like help me work through the erotic blueprints. What's fun is you can also now, you have a person you have this really ultra healthy communication with, that now on the other side, like you said, if let's debrief in 24 hours, maybe there's some things you want to experiment with next time and you'll feel much more open to share, or something that you didn't like, that you're like, you know what, we don't need to do that anymore. Or I'm not, or like you said, the cold lube, that doesn't work for me. What else do you think? I love the idea of aftercare and communication. If we were to open this up a little more even and say, if you're I was just reading another couple of comments. If you're in a relationship with someone too, now, and you wanted to have a similar conversation, would you say that this maybe modified a little bit, but something, or a different model?
I recommend that all couples actually do this whole template. I think it's important. But yes, I have all of my clients do it, even if they've been married 30 years. And then the aftercare template, the follow-up that I teach is one, what were your favorite parts? Highlights.
Yeah.
What do you want more of? Let's start there. And then what didn't work for you, or what would you like less of in the future? If we are going to play together in the future, if it's a play partner, what do you want to try next? Or if you're partnered and nested and living together, like, when do we want to plan our next like special night, our special getaway? And then yeah, so what did you love, highlights, what didn't work for you? Oh, and then what are you most grateful for? Right, sharing appreciation. And what's really fun is when you get comfortable talking about the sex you just had, you start getting turned on and wanting more sex. It starts
Yeah.
this positive feedback loop. And it also, like, as if you make it sort of a regular thing, like pretty frequently you do that, and you can actually say like, oh my goodness, this morning when you woke me up and kissed my neck and breathed on me and then like pressed right up against me, oh, I was turned on so fast. And then like you start talking about the sex you just had and you're dirty talking about your previous sexual successes. So great. Um, and then if it doesn't go well, if you've got this ongoing conversation talking about the sex you just had, it leaves this really easeful way to bring up, ooh, you know what? That was a little fast this morning. I'm super grateful that you initiated, and it would really help me if I had time to get up and pee before
Yeah.
you down on me, or whatever the thing is, right?
Yeah.
There's just like this open feedback loop. So you don't ever have to say like, hey, honey, can we sit down? We need to talk about our sex life. Because like no one wants to have the talk. And it just
Yeah.
keeps it casual, keeps it ongoing, keeps it open.
I love that you mentioned that. That's really great. And I was about to ask you that as you were talking just a second ago, in terms of like the things that we can sometimes get wrong. And I don't mean wrong in a judgmental way, but in a way where we are not able to communicate effectively. We are not able to feel safe in conversation about. We don't know how to approach it. I love the idea that when you have these types of ongoing conversations, and thank you for your willingness to share the template with us, it makes it less of a we only talk about it when, which our bodies remember. And so if always conversation about sex is only the uncomfortable parts, that can create some feedback loops in your brain that basically your brain feels not so much relaxed and safe enough to reach the parts of your pleasure that maybe you could have access to if you were able to create this open space together without shame, without judgment.
And using your words in the moment too. Like a lot of women, I've heard so many women where they're trying to direct their partner with their like they're moving their knees this way because what they really need is like, thank you for going down on me, but like you could be there forever and nothing is gonna happen.
Yeah.
If
Yes.
you move a quarter of an inch to the left and like up just a little, we'll be there. And so they can actually say that, hey babe, like a quarter inch to the left and slow down 50%. Oh yes.
Yes.
Instead of like, you don't know where to find the clit. Uh,
Yeah.
Big difference between a criticism, right?
Hmm.
Or coaching someone to help them know you.
Yeah.
If intimacy is like, let me see into you and know you, then don't we want to help our partners have a operator guide to our bodies? Um,
Hmm.
but a lot of women will like pull back, or they'll push forward, or they'll start tilting and doing all these gyrations, and their partner's like, I don't know what's happening. And we're like, way too hard. That's why I'm pulling away. And they're like, coming after you. Well, just say
Yeah.
50% less, slow down. Oh, yes. And then they're hearing praise, right? Instead of us just saying, oh, that's not working. Let's switch to something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really beautiful. I think also in that space um when you are also using your voice. This is something that we talk about with Nice Girl Detox all the time. This is part of your expression. I think we haven't always all felt maybe as safe, or when you think about good girl conditioning, it very rarely puts female pleasure at the center, and it's more about us being agreeable and us, this is, I think, even where performing I know I have done that, where it's like, what does it look like when a person has sex, and then you just are sort of, neurodivergent person is like, I'm going to study things. And so what you study is, not a version of a person in your role getting off in an honest way. So, or honestly, even like you said, like not just in the bedroom or the fun places that you play, but then also all the little fun things that you like. So, I would just like to add a little plug in here too, that this is very much part of our conditioning, the idea that, and then what does saying that mean? I would love for everybody to just ask that question to yourself. What has that meant before? Are there words in your head about the kind of woman it is who knows what pleasure means to her, and isn't afraid to share that with someone? And a person who is very in tune with her body. What do I think that means? What has that meant before? Maybe any labels that how do you feel about that, Kristin, when when you think about women in the spaces that you're working with, or anyone who may have labels that, this is the rewiring part, right? This is the like decoding and reprogramming part. What do you witness there?
Wow. Could you restate the question one more time, just so I make sure I've got it?
Yeah. So essentially the idea of, um, I guess I'll just say it really clear. We've all kind of, I feel like a lot of times being really direct about your sexuality, especially in a way where you speak it out loud, especially in a way where you are in touch with your body, you're an alive sexual being. I think that especially if a good girl conditioning is alive and well, sometimes we think, what does that mean about me? Does that mean I'm a hoe? Does that mean I'm those
I see.
types of,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Labels. Yeah. It can mean
label.
selfish, greedy, high maintenance. That's one that I felt for a long time. High maintenance.
Yeah.
Because I don't warm up like instantaneously, and most of us don't, right? Only one of 5 blueprints does. And so high maintenance was one. Picky, right? When it's like, I like this and not that. And critical. That was one that I really identified with for a long time. But really, like, there was a great comment in here in the notes in the chat. Layla, I'm not sure how to say your name,
Yeah.
says Samantha from Sex and the City has always been always had such a confident, dominant person, in and out of the bedroom. She's who I think of as a sexually free woman. So yeah, Samantha is this beautiful example of someone who's super direct, empowered, and unabashed, right? Like very, very much like, I know what I want and I'm going to get it. And I know lots of people want to give it to me. So I totally admire that and celebrate that. Not all of us are like a Samantha, though, right? Some of us, like yes, I went to dominatrix school. Yes, I'm very empowered in my eroticism, and I am much more submissive in the bedroom. I coach people all day long, every day. I'm a mom of 3. I hold together a business and lots of clients. At the end of the day, I'd really love to relax and have someone else in charge every once in a while. And so you can also be very empowered in submission. You can be very empowered in receiving and being open. And I just want to have a moment of empathy and tenderness, for all of us good girls who didn't have this language. I had to go to school for this. I paid a lot of money and spent thousands of hours getting this education and empowerment. And so if this feels like so big to be able to speak like this, it's a practice. And so you don't have to start like at the deep end. You can start with, that feels good. Or, ooh, could you move just a little bit down? Yes, right there. You don't have to start out all of those other ways, right? You can work towards that. But I do think like the labels can be tricky. And so it's really good to reframe it and say, like, actually, the interesting thing is, I'm going to say, I see a lot of men who have the same issue, the same challenge. And really the myth comes down to, we're not allowed to talk about sex.
Yeah.
Sex should be natural and easy, like insert tab A to slot B and whatever the thing is, like,
Yeah.
natural. And it's like, yes, sex is natural, but love making is an art. And we're wired differently. We're most often drawn to someone different than we are, that doesn't share our native language. And so we need a translation guide. And so just normalizing the fact that this isn't easy. And this is a practice, and having grace for all of that.
Thank you for sharing that. You know, I feel like this is a perfect time thinking about labels and you know, how you can start, how you can get your start, and where also it could lead. And so I would love for us to touch base here. We have a few minutes left, and then we're going to, if you guys have any other questions, please put them in if you want to be coached. We're going to be sharing our monthly dare here soon. I would love to hear a little bit about Devotional Kink. This is your baby, you know. Would you share with that with us?
Devotional Kink is my baby. So I discovered my kinky blueprint when a man I dated like put his hand right here under my hair and squeezed. And it was like my entire brain rewired. I was 40 years old and had never been touched in my native erotic blueprint. And I had no idea what happened. I was like, and then I went on this deep exploration and journey, and I was single and solo parent. And I was like, I want to get married. And I want a kinky husband. Like, I want the most pleasure-drenched, love-filled marriage that could possibly ever exist. I want to be a well-loved, well-fucked woman. And I want this sacred, spiritual, ultra-sexy, kinky marriage. And I couldn't find the words to describe the type of relationship I was looking for. And what I wanted was this sense of like, we orbit each other. We're the center of each other's world. And I had this very deep spirituality in my childhood and through adulthood, but I didn't have a place to put it after deconditioning from the cult and like going through this religious, like deconditioning, evangelical, religious trauma healing thing. And so I was like, I want it to feel like I can worship the divine in my partnership, and that I can be worshiped in that way as well. And so I was like, you know, I would talk with friends and other erotic blueprint coaches and kinksters and educators. And I would be like, do you know someone? I actually asked for referrals. Someone you can introduce me to. Here's me, the kinky energetic shapeshifter with like all of this love to give. And I was trying to describe this dynamic that I was looking for. And it really wasn't as much on the sensation side of BDSM as much as it was about power exchange in a like really loving way. And one day the words devotional kink just spilled out of my mouth. And I was like, yes, it's that, right? It's not dungeon play. It's not whips and chains. There's really like not even any props. It's truly about this dynamic of choosing a polarity, a lead and a follow. And so I've developed this curriculum around it for people who are interested in psychological and spiritual and emotional power exchange, playing with roles and rules. Like, actually, I use my kinky blueprint to like, what's the right word? Like when you start a car, like hot wire. There we go. So
Yeah.
My motivation. We use Devotional Kink to help do that, because sometimes I just have a hard time starting a project or finishing thing. And then my husband will say something like, we'll be a good girl and make brownies for the evening, because I'm like, oh, I wanted to bake brownies, but I'm too tired and I'm on the couch. And he's like, be a good girl and go make brownies for us. You might get a reward. I'm like, yes. Because my cakester inside of me loves rewards, right? And loves praise. And so it like makes it fun. It gamifies our relationship in a way that's really delightful. And like, out of the pillars of devotional kink, only one of them is in the bedroom. The benefits of psychological safety and emotional tenderness and closeness and play go throughout every realm of intimacy throughout our whole lives. So it's really much more of a lived experience of polarity and power play. for the joy and delight of everyone involved.
Sign me up.
Oh,
This
okay.
sounds so fun. You know what's so tough is that I literally feel like I could talk to you for like 4 more hours. There's just it's just rich, this topic and what you do and at your work. And again, I know I keep saying opportunities, possibilities, but really what lives inside of us to become awakened. And I know that this conversation for me has awakened some really fun questions and ideas. This is a fun space. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. Do you have anything? I want to get to our dare here in just a moment. Is there anything we didn't touch on? Is there anything that you want to plug? Let's talk about your social platforms and all the ways that people can find you too. And especially if they're interested in working with you, I'll be getting with you on the template. I just like to open up the floor. And then whenever you're ready, if you'd like to share with us the dare that this was curated by Kristin, and I'll be posting it in the Facebook page also.
Oh, so fun. Well, first of all, I'm not the most social person. I'm working on that, but most of my clients come from referrals from other clients and colleagues or from events like this because I'm super relational. But I would love to have more people hang out with me on social media because the engagement actually is starting to make it really fun. So my Instagram is at Wilder Intimacy. And we can put that somewhere in the chat.
Yeah.
And I have 2 group programs coming up. I'm doing my 3rd book club on this baby, Unbound, A Woman's Guide to Power. It's written by a Taoist nun and dominatrix. And it has been a sold out raving success for the last few months. Ace, my darling friend, welcome. Also an ex-evangelical. So that's launching next month, the Good Girl Jailbreak. It's just 4 weeks, but the experiences women have had in that group, I could bawl telling you about. If you want to break good girl conditioning, that's the book to start with. And in July, I'm having a slumber party for the Soul book club called Discover Your Erotic Genius. And it's 8 weeks through Jaya's book, Your Blueprint for Pleasure, where I'm going to just bring it just to women for Erotic Blueprints discovery and get to explore it in safe space with women. So you don't have to bring your partner, just get to talk with girls about your blueprints. And I will also put in the chat my Good Girl Jailbreak Spotify playlist, because sometimes
yes,
I love to get ready to like raunchy and empowering music. And so if that sounds fun, I'll drop that as a gift for you. And are we doing the dare now? Is that what we're doing?
Yes. Are you ready, girl? You want to share?
I'm ready. Okay. One of the most naughty, rebellious things that a woman can do is to receive a compliment without pushing it off, denying it, or downgrading it. And so your dare, should you choose to accept it, is to say, thank you. It's true. Whenever someone gives you a compliment.
Hey, I don't mean to interrupt you, but you're so gorgeous, Kristin.
Oh, thank you. It's true.
There you go. You're so brilliant, Kristin.
Oh, thank you. It's true.
You inspire me endlessly, Kristin.
Thank you. It's true.
I love that.
It was one of the most awkward, uncomfortable assignments I've ever been given. My voice coach gave me this prompt. I practiced it for 30 days with every single compliment I received, including at the bank when someone told me they liked my bag and it was beautiful, right? Like super awkward. But to be able to receive celebration, to be able to be seen, is actually a gift to the person giving the compliment, right? So give me another one and let me reject it.
Okay. Kristin, I think you are possibly the most exciting person I've met in years.
Oh, well, there are so many more exciting people. Have you met my friend?
Yeah.
Actually, Natalie's totally incredible. What happens in your body when I'm like, oh no, not really. There's so many more interesting people. I'm nothing.
Yeah. It's like
It actually says, you're wrong.
yeah.
I reject that. I reject your opinion. right?
Yeah.
Instead of like receiving it as this gift and like letting it grow. And so yes, say thank you. It's true.
Mm.
It's the way to actually let the kindness, generosity, and love of other people actually take seed so you feel it. Yeah.
Mm.
So there is your dare.
I love that. It's a great dare, and we all get to practice it the whole month. And again, the dares aren't about getting it perfect every single day. It's about noticing, it's about witnessing yourself change. It's about witnessing the parts of you that want to reject, where that come from. It's such a curious exploration, these dares, and you can do them as much as you want, as much as you remember. And we'll be reminding. I also have a little box that we put in the Facebook page where you just come report your findings. It's not, hey, I did it 1,000 times today, and somebody's going to win because they did it the most. It's more, I didn't do it today, and I noticed it, and it made me feel, or it created feelings within my energy of, so it's all just very fun. Kristin, you have shared so much with us tonight. Thank you for the information. Thank you for your energy, your kindness, your ability to create this space where I know I feel very, again, just safe to share and to become.
Thank you for having me. I'm going to share that Good Girl Unbound playlist here in this chat. Ooh, and then we have a note. It's difficult to do when another woman celebrates me. I could do it easily with a man, though. I usually respond with, I'm aware.
Oh, I love that.
Very powerful, very powerful. I'm aware.
Mm-hmm.
And then play with that. Play with how it feels in your body. So give me another one. Say it. Give me another compliment.
Kristin, I'm going to give you, like, I was just thinking of like a made up one. I'm going to say, I love how you move in your body. It's very relaxed and very inspiring to me.
I'm aware. It's a
Oh,
feel how it feels to hear and receive both. Like I really like to say the thank you. If someone's giving you a gift of acknowledgement, of seeing you, that's truly genuine. Like if it's a cat call, like I know, I'm aware.
yeah.
Ah, right? Different than a genuine, true compliment. But when women celebrate women, like Leela, read the Unbound book. It's about healing that sister wound so that we really can let women see us and celebrate us. We heal in the gaze of ourselves and other women, not through the acknowledgement of a man. So that's, for me, that's where all the juicy richness comes from, is like, I get to celebrate me. I get to be seen by my sisters, and it's not for anyone else's gaze. Right. Oh, there's a great song in the Good Girl Jailbreak. It's called, I can't remember what it's called, but she says, I do not show this skin for you. I show myself to see myself and the world from which I came. And it's like in our own eyes, in our own gaze, can we find that acceptance, that beauty, and the thank you, it's true.
Mm, that's
Mm.
good. Ooh.
Bringing this main character energy, this powerful space. You are such an incredible host and teacher and luminescent guide. I love you.
Thank you. It's true. I'm so aware. I got to practice it. I'm telling you guys, it felt real good. It felt real good. I can't wait for you to do it.
Yes, Puma. That's right. The Ayla Narero. Thank you. Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Well, hey, thanks also to everyone new here. I just gotta say, Kristin, I had so many messages of people who are such big fans of yours that just love you so much. It was very cool to just also, I get to meet new people who love you. I love you. You're now meeting people that I love. This feels like our community is very much, just
I
this
love
whole.
the game.
Yes, the sacred rebellion. We're breaking rules, we're loving each other. It feels good. I also just want to add one more thing. If anyone has any questions, you can email me here, mo@maincharactercoach.com. Anything that you don't get from tonight's call, I'll also be putting it in an email after this. This episode will be put on all podcast platforms within 48 hours, and then also on YouTube. So you'll have all kinds of opportunities to go back and even watch it. So, Kristin, is there anything else before we hop off here that you'd like to share with us, or are you feeling complete?
I want everybody to close their eyes, just to end with a final settling in to seal this energy, this intention. Just think of one win, insight, or learning that you want to remember from today. If there was one golden nugget you're taking away, just look at it, feel it, and hold it. And connect to that wildfire deep inside. Take one last big, beautiful, gorgeous, glorious breath. And as you exhale, feel this. I am a sovereign woman. I am not here to fade. I am here to bloom, to blossom, to rise, and to ignite my own fire. And 3 claps and an ah.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, I did mine way too fast. I'm definitely the person who's like
That works too. Love it.
Love it.
Thank you all
so much, Kristin. We'll see you guys. We're gonna close down the chat. I'll share the playlist. You need anything, you know where to find it.
Mwah.
Mwah.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
See you guys. Well, that's a wrap on today's episode of Nice Girl Detox, the very first episode of Nice Girl Detox. What once was just a live call on Zoom, baby, it's now a podcast that you're listening to wherever you are. I'm so glad that you joined us. This is the space where rebellion gets sacred, the sisterhood gets real, and expression becomes a practice. So subscribe to the show if you haven't already, like we talked about earlier. Please come join the Facebook community. We really want to hang out with you. This is where the live calls, the coaching invites, the monthly dares, all of it goes down, where we chit chat, where we kiki. We'd love to have you there. Oh, yes. And then also, don't forget, if you want some coaching for your ADHD brain, your energy rhythms, and your goals, I've got you, boo. I would love to chat with you. I'm Mo, the main character coach, and you can find me on Instagram. I'm at main character coach. Until next time, please keep showing up, keep taking up space, keep stretching, and keep becoming more you, unicorn, you colorful weirdo, you freak, you silly person, you funny gal. I don't know, I'm running out of things. We love it. We love all of it. It's all welcome here. You never have to mask. You can always be exactly who you are. Your differences aren't just welcome here. They're celebrated, because we happen to find that to be super kick-ass. So anyway, please come hang out with us. We would love to be your friend. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you want to join a call, if you want in on any of this action, shoot me a message, comment below, come find me, and I'll make sure you get everything you need. Sometimes to be a girl.